Today's topic is MTHFR for weight loss. Let me just tell you a quick story. So I had a follower who had tried everything. She tried Ozempic, Weight Watchers, keto, intermittent fasting, low carb. She tried all of it and she didn't have a gallbladder. Okay, so just preface that. And she could lose a little bit of weight, but she would always regain it. And it just got more and more difficult to lose weight until she stumbled on my content, joined the program, and started supporting methylation and following the healthy habits like getting morning sunshine and eating the small meals. And she was so excited because she actually was losing weight without deprivation. She felt like she wasn't deprived, and she actually started craving some of the foods that help to support methylation. And she was so excited because she could fit into a restaurant booth again, which was like huge for her because she enjoyed eating out with her husband. And now she wasn't embarrassed about not being able to sit in a booth anymore because she had finally found something that was going to work for her long term. She didn't feel deprived, so that she wasn't going to gain the weight back. And it was just amazing how supporting this gene was what she needed all along when she had been trying restriction and counting calories and Weight Watchers and Octavia and all the things. And she'd lose weight, but just always gain it back. So I'm just like, that story to me is just the epitome of how powerful supporting MTHFR can be. When you've tried everything else, when you finally start supporting your detox gene, it can make such a massive difference. But it's not just a detox gene. A lot of people think it's all about detoxification, but it's so much more than that. And in this video, I want to talk about why it supports weight loss. So some of the symptoms of sluggish MTHFR or methylation are low energy, mood issues like anxiety or depression, hormone imbalances, sensitivity to foods and chemicals, sleep issues, inflammation, and pain and swelling. So now this is a lot, and there's other symptoms that can, like other root causes that can be tied to these same things, but methylation is always a part of a root cause, in my opinion. And I've heard so many different stories, and methylation is always a component in healing. Now, why do these symptoms matter when it comes to weight loss? Well, if you don't have energy, you don't have motivation. If you have mood issues, it's going to be hard to stick to your plan and not be emotional. If you have hormone imbalances, again, it can just take away your energy that you have. If you're sensitive to foods and chemicals, it can be hard to try different foods or try different supplements. If you're not getting sleep, it's really hard. Your insulin sensitivity is lower. Your cortisol is higher, and you just don't have energy. If you're having inflammation, again, all of these things have to do with energy and motivation. So I think we could think of MTHFR as your energy and motivation gene because it can give you so much more drive to follow your plan. So we have to support MTHFR. And when we do that, our energy goes up, our mood improves, our sleep improves, and our hormones start to balance out. So this can make a massive difference to create the foundation for successful fat loss. So now I'm going to talk about what we need to do to support methylation. So I want to give you some tangible tips of how we need to support methylation, because it's not going to be just, one day you start supporting methylation and then instantly you all of a sudden have more energy. We have to be incorporating healthy habits, certain foods, and even some supplements, and we'll have a gradual increase in our energy. Or it can even be like an overnight change, or it can just take like a couple days, but we want to be supporting methylation lifelong. So we want to be thinking through the lens of how do we support our methylation. So number one is we want to manage our stress and our lifestyle stress, our emotional stress, just the cortisol levels that we have in our body, because cortisol requires methylation in order for your body to remove that molecule. So it's okay to have stress, but we want to make sure that we're bringing ourselves down from stressful events. And there's 3 really important aspects of managing your stress. Is number 1 is the nutrition program, 300 calories, 300 to 400 calories every 3 to 4 hours. Because then when you're supporting your body with the energy it needs, it doesn't need to raise cortisol in order to create glucose from fat or from muscle. So we don't want to have to force our body to break down muscle to create glucose. So we want to be supporting our body with steady nutrition throughout the day. Number 2, breath. Breath is so important for regulating your cortisol because you could have a stressful event and you need to know how to bring yourself back down. And how you do that is exhale. So bring awareness to your body, yourself, relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and exhale several times and hold. Exhale and hold. And then you want to start doing coherence breathing. So that's a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale. And just for a couple minutes, a couple times a day, can do a lot to help you regulate your cortisol, your fight or flight. And 3 is walking. Walking is such an amazing cortisol stress reliever because you're doing a repetitive movement, you're breathing steadily, it's a steady state kind of cardio, and you're out in nature, you're outside, hopefully you're not on your phone while you're walking, and you can just like think and release and just have the intention of releasing that stress. So those are 3 things you can do to support your cortisol levels. Number 2 is removing processed foods with folic acid. Folic acid is not natural. It's a synthetic lab-created form of folate. And when it gets in your system, if you have an MTHFR variation, it not only blocks your MTHFR, but it also blocks the carrier protein for folate. And so you end up with all of these like MTHFR and carrier proteins that are locked up and they can't do their jobs. So we really want to get away from folic acid. And it's found in enriched or fortified foods like white flour and white rice products. So cookies, crackers, cereals, pizza, pasta, bread, anything that has enriched wheat flour or enriched rice. It's also found in protein drinks, even in egg whites, so be careful with your egg whites, and multivitamins and B vitamins or energy drinks that have B vitamins. So really watch your labels and try not to consume. Now, it's not the end of the world if you do, but just do your best to avoid as much as you can. Number 3 is to eat more foods with natural folate. So this is vitamin B9. And this is found in leafy greens, citrus fruits, cruciferous vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, and asparagus, avocado, protein, and lentils. And so try to eat like 1 or 2 of these foods at least once a day. So for leafy greens, you could have a salad either at lunch or dinner, or just add like a handful of greens to your lunch or to your dinner. Or try to eat a cutie or an orange in the morning. Or try to add some cabbage or broccoli or asparagus to dinner. Or have an avocado, a piece of an avocado in the morning with your eggs. Or have lentil soup. Like, just think about how can you incorporate a couple of these things into your life every single day. Leafy greens, I have to say, is one of the highest sources of folate. And then the 4th step is supplements. Now, with supplements, you want to be careful. You don't want to just plunge right into supplements. And I'm going to actually tell you what you can take before you even start B vitamins, because some people, they do not respond very well to B vitamins. It can make them feel anxious and overwhelmed and aggressive. So that might be the last thing you want to start with. So you can start with actually glycine or trimethylglycine, because in the absence of folate, your body can actually do a workaround with glycine, which is an amino acid. And trimethylglycine or TMG is like 3 glycines, or magnesium glycinate, which is like a glycine molecule. So you could start with magnesium glycinate, which you need magnesium anyway. So you can start with magnesium glycinate because it supports your magnesium pathways and your methylation. The next thing you could try is creatine, because almost half of your methylation work that your liver does actually goes to create creatine in your own body. And that's why creatine is such an important, it's like gaining popularity. It's really in the spotlight right now. It's like so important for brain health and muscle growth and energy, because your methylation pathways help to create creatine. So you could start with 1 gram of creatine and work your way up to 5 or 10 or even 15 grams, but you just want to go slow and make sure you are hydrated, because creatine, it will absorb a lot of water. And if you start taking creatine, don't be alarmed if the scale goes up a little bit, because your body is going to be holding more water, which is good. It's going to help you to have more energy, which will eventually help you to lose weight. So don't worry if the scale goes up a little bit. The next thing you could try is beef organs, because this has a food-based form of folate and B12 and other nutrients like riboflavin and other minerals that your body needs for methylation. And then the next thing you could try, the most powerful thing, which is why I'm telling you last, is B vitamins, like methylated B vitamins. So that would be methylcobalamin, methylfolate, and I think it's great if you can take it in a multivitamin, so you can get some other nutrients along with it. So when you start supporting these pathways, you're gonna find that your energy goes up, your motivation goes up, you start sleeping better, your moods are better, and it just improves the whole foundation so that you feel good about following your plan. It's easier to stick to your nutrition because you're sleeping well and you have good energy. It's easier to do your healthy habits because they keep perpetuating this like amazing feeling that you're having. And that is how you get away from dieting and the whole hamster wheel of dieting, and you get on this whole different track of supporting your detox, your metabolism, your energy, and that lets you do and live the life that you want to live and go do all the amazing things you want to do, which creates more joy and happiness, and it creates more drive and motivation to stick to your plan. And that is how you lose weight sustainably for the rest of your life. The weight that you don't want will fall off by itself in its own time, when it wants, when it's ready, when you don't force it, but you're supporting this underlying energy system that you have. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them below. And I just want to encourage you that support your methylation pathways, because that is going to be your driver for energy and weight loss. Thanks for joining.